be praying for the people on the train with us, the people who work with us, the people at the store with us, the neighbors who are giving us a hard time? Are we desiring that they receive this beautiful gift in their hearts? Are we praying that they do? Are we willing to live a life of sacrificial love so that our worst enemy is enlightened by the flame of love? Remember, the flame of love is for all people. All people. Our Blessed Mother says explicitly that the flame of love is to light in hearts that are filled with infernal hatred. That's how you end Gaza. That's how we end Ukraine. That's how we end mass shootings. That's how we end the violence that's in abusive families. That's how. I'll give you an example of what the flame of love does. And again, I don't want to come across the wrong way. We do want our prayer groups. We do want our prayers. But as I say, those are the matches, not the fire. They're the tools, not the goal. What's the goal? I'll give you an example from Papua New Guinea. The flame of love is relatively new in Papua New Guinea. 6 months, a year. Papua New Guinea is a very, very primitive country. They had headhunting and cannibalism until the 1970s. In this particular area where the story comes from, they had only encountered Western civilization about 90 years ago, the 1930s. Had never seen a white person before. Were completely unacquainted with Christianity. It's still a very violent, tribal-oriented society. A lot of tribal vengeance killings. You kill one of my tribe, I kill 5 to 10 of your tribe, I burn down your village, and this cycle of violence goes on. And this happened to this woman who was helping to lead the flame of love in her area. They killed her brother, they cut off his head, and she needed to take the body back to her tribal homeland. And she knew what would happen. This would set off the cycle of violence. They would go to the neighboring tribe, they would kill 5 to 10 people, burn down the village, and the cycle would go on and on. It's also a very paternal society. Women have no voice. So she brings the body back. And she's praying to our Blessed Mother to light the flame of love in these hearts filled with hatred. She comes to her tribal village, and true to form, the men are all dressed in their blood paint, just like you'd see on National Geographic, machetes and bush knives in hand, ready to go kill 5 to 10 of the neighboring tribe in retribution for this murder. And miraculously, they let a woman speak. And she speaks to them of the need for forgiveness and reconciliation. And even more miraculously, they listen. And they put down the bush knives and the machetes, and for the first time ever, they call in government mediators to mediate the dispute, make a financial settlement for the murder, and stop the cycle of violence. But it doesn't stop there. Their youth have a huge problem. Unemployment, despair, poverty, big problems with alcoholism, drug abuse. They make it themselves. They call it steam. And they get drunk, and they get high, and they start fighting, and they start killing each other, and the violence starts. So they're praying in this chapel, they're praying the flame of love, and there's this ruckus outside, and these two sets of youth are fighting with each other, cutting each other up. And the one tribe comes running into the shrine. They lock the door. And their tribe comes, and they want to bring them out so they can kill them. This is life in Papua New Guinea. And once again, miraculously, they put down the machetes, they put down the bush knives, and they reconcile. And it doesn't stop there. 2 weeks later, I get an email from her saying, all the youth in the village who are making the steam took all their equipment and brought it to the elders of the town and the police and said, we renounce this. We're giving this up. We're going to go back to farming to meet our needs. This doesn't happen. This is a miracle. This is what the flame of love is to do. To put out the fire of hatred, the fire of hell, to blind Satan so people can understand that peace makes more sense than war and violence. that life makes more sense than murder. This is the flame of love in action. This is what our Blessed Mother wants to do for the whole world. And there are many stories like that. That's a very dramatic one. But so many stories I can tell you of people who have brought the flame of love into their parish, into their lives, and they see healing and conversions they would never imagine possible. This is Guadalupe for the whole world. And how long it will take, I don't know. But remember, the missionaries worked so hard in Mexico with the Aztecs, with so little fruit, until our Blessed Mother intervened. And then what happened? The greatest mass conversion in history. What has happened? We're working so hard. We do what we can in the church, but our work of evangelization seems so little. So few come. Until our Blessed Mother steps in. And then watch what happens. This is what the flame of love is about. This is how it is to spread. There's one critical passage I want to share with you, and then we'll see where we go. I'm still waiting for the flag that lunch has arrived for us to do that. But I want to pass along this to you. This is a passage I'm actually reading from the handwritten diary. As I mentioned, what we have in the blue diary was what we could smuggle out of Hungary. Now we finally have access to the handwritten diary, and we're in the process of translating it into English. So there's more information in here. It's a little more clear. But this is a case where our Blessed Mother sends Elizabeth to talk to a priest at a very famous, a very large Marian shrine in Hungary, Maria Remete. And she gives the writings to the priest, and she comes back in a couple of weeks. And she writes, "In the church of Maria Remete, I went to that priest to whom I had given the Blessed Virgin's messages a week ago. He said he had read them twice, but did not understand them. I was very amazed by this, and would have liked to say eloquent words about the Blessed Virgin's flame of love. But I strained in vain. No thoughts came to mind, no words to my lips. I thought, how can one not understand this? There's a lot I left out here, you can see by the dots. It's a really bad scene. They're arguing in the confessional. This is going really bad. And when she left the confessional, the thought that he didn't understand it hurt even more. I prayed to the Blessed Mother, my mother, the one to whom you sent me, doesn't understand your flame of love. I asked the Holy Spirit to enlighten him and let the effect of grace of the Blessed Virgin's flame of love permeate him as it did me." Now there's more here that I want to get to, but there's an important point here. Notice that this is not about knowledge. Oh, did I drop? There we go. Is that better? Thank you, Marcel. See, that's the gesticulation getting in the way. So you notice this is not about knowledge. I take it that lunch has finally arrived. All right.
Hello? Hello?
Good job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, can you come to the side?
So we'll finish up this portion, and then we'll break for lunch. This is a good place to break. I told you she was working on a plenary indulgence.